Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment here for NFL Week 13 picks and predictions. It has been 3 weeks since I've been on here making my picks and predictions for the NFL. We had Thanksgiving, and then right before that, I had, some of my issues with my streaming laptop that I had now gotten fixed. Thank you for that, and we are finally back, and what a time to come back as COVID-19 has ran through the NFL. It is causing all sorts of hell in the NFL. This is the weirdest NFL schedule I've ever seen in my life. We had football on during the day. Today, a Wednesday, hump day, we had the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. As I was clocking out, I was watching RG3 tune out of the game because the guy was having interceptions, fumbles, the guy threw for 33 yards. It was horrible as I was clocking out. This is what I was seeing. It was unbelievable. So, don't know what's going on. And then now next week, Tuesday, we have 2 Monday night games. We have a Tuesday game. Ravens play Tuesday. I mean, it's just out of order, whatever. But I will tell you this, in the last 3 weeks, I've still done well straight up. I haven't made my Gary Damn tees, but last week I was 10-6. And overall, I'm 122-53 straight up. Great record. I'm third in the SFE Pick'em Challenge, so I love that. But I want to go all the way up to first place because I want my own $100 gift card that I will gift to myself, right? Yes or yes. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the NFL Week 13. What are my picks and predictions for NFL Week 13? Well, let's begin. With the first game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Miami Dolphins and the Bengals. Man, I didn't get to talk about this. Joe Burrow goes down, and I mean, if you're Trevor Lawrence, this is why you don't want to go to the New York Jets, man. Even Joe Burrow couldn't stay healthy behind the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. The writing was on the wall from day one, and he still got injured. Incredible. We knew it was going to happen. In the pocket, too. My goodness. The Bengals without Joe Burrow, they just don't have much of a chance. I know they kind of competed last week. I don't care. Given the Miami Dolphins are playing pretty well lately, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is back in the lineup, played pretty well last week, but the defense is on a roll. The whole team is on a roll. Brian Flores has this team playing so well, and they appear to be headed for a playoff spot. We move on to the next game. The Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. The Bears pulled out a victory in this game earlier in the season in late fashion. Can they do it again here? Now, I'm expecting that Mitchell Trubisky is going to play in this game, but who knows? Like, here we go again with the Bears and the quarterback. You don't know who they're starting at quarterback. I mean, it's a disaster. I mean, I don't know why Bears fans are shocked. I told you in my Bears prediction video, I told you before the season. You're going to go out of this season, you're going to play both of them, and you're going to say, okay, neither one of them is the answer. I don't know why either one of them were ever considered to be the answer in Chicago. That's just, that's beyond me. I'm sorry, I don't understand it. But luckily for you, you're facing a Lions team that did just fire Matt Patricia and their general manager, Bob Quinn, but has been very up and down this season. The Bears, and I told you all, remember when they started the season so strong? I was like, they're frauds. And finally, they've been proven to be the frauds that they are. But this should be a win that they should get. And so Lions are still having some injuries. Kenny Galladay is still likely to be out for this game. The Bears should get this win here. We move on to the next game. We have the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons, and the Saints have been playing very well lately, even without Drew Brees. Now, Taysom Hill hasn't been doing much of anything, and I don't know why Jameis Winston is not on the field. I mean, you saw last week. Now, they were facing a Denver Broncos team that was quarterbacked by Kendall Hinton. Who? Yeah, exactly. So they didn't really need to do much in terms of throwing the football, but Jameis Winston can throw the ball a hell of a lot better than Taysom Hill, and Taysom Hill did a whole bunch of nothing in the passing game last week. Not that he needed to, but still did a whole bunch of nothing in the passing game last week. The Falcons were really dominated by the Saints about 2 or 3 weeks ago, 24-9, but they also dominated the Raiders last week. So I'm not really sure what to expect from the Falcons from a week-to-week basis. But it looks like I do know what to expect from the Saints. So I'm going to trust the Saints here, but I do think it's going to be interesting fashion. I do think it's going to be an entertaining game and a game to watch. But with the Saints just being as dominant defensively as they've been lately, Go ahead and give me the Saints to win this game in Atlanta. Move on to the next game with the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Minnesota Vikings, where Mike Glennon, that is right, Mike Glennon has returned to the NFL, starting in the NFL. He is starting for the Jacksonville Jaguars and actually looked decent last week. Had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 96 passer rating. Okay, I see you, Mike Glennon, for now, but we all know the downfall is coming soon. I think he'll play well again here, as the Minnesota Vikings defense hasn't been that impressive this season, though. But Dalvin Cook, is he healthy? But he should be able to bounce back in this game. Did not play well last week. Should be healthy again and ready to really compete in this game and really go back to rushing as well as he's been rushing whenever he's been healthy this season. So give me the Minnesota Vikings to win this game in Minnesota. We move on to the next game. We have the Cleveland Browns at the Tennessee Titans, where the Tennessee Titans are 5.5. Some people even have them as a 6-point favorite. Wow. I mean, I know the Titans had a very impressive victory last week, one that I was very happy about, but I mean, that is a heavy favorite. I'm not going to bet against them, but I'll tell you this, I don't think it's going to be a 6-point win here. I think it's going to be a hard-fought win. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they're going to run the ball on this Tennessee defense, and they're going to have success. This Tennessee run defense right now, I mean, they've had their issues all season long. Not many teams actually take advantage of it, but they've had holes and deficiencies there. You're talking about Jayon Brown being out, and David Long has come in. He's done a decent job already in terms of the run defense. But there's definitely some holes up front where Jeffrey Simmons is really your only impressive run stuffer up front, and Daquan Jones to a certain extent. But Kevin Byard is definitely not offering a lot in terms of run support right now. The Browns will have success in the run game, but ultimately, I think Baker Mayfield will make a mistake or two. Will throw the ball to Breon Borders or Malcolm Butler, or maybe even Kevin Byard can come down with an interception. Oh my God, that'd be incredible. I mean, can you imagine saying that 2 years ago? We would expect it. Now it'd be incredible if Kevin Byard did something for this Tennessee Titans secondary. So give me the Titans, because ultimately Baker Mayfield and this Browns offense is a lot more turnover prone than the Tennessee Titans offense right now, which does not turn the ball over. We move on to the next game. We have the Las Vegas Raiders at the New York Jets, and the Jets are barreling towards an 0-16 season. They are god-awful. They are incredibly awful. They are incredibly terrible. Now, I'll tell you this. I think they'll end up being maybe one of the, I'll say the best 0-16 team ever if they go 0-16. I think they're better than the Browns a couple years ago, and I think they're better than the Detroit Lions in 2008. But they're still bad. So go ahead and give me the Las Vegas Raiders to bounce back after last week's abysmal performance against Atlanta and get the victory here. Moving on to the next game, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans, and I was prepared to pick the Houston Texans to win this game. And then all of a sudden, Brian Cushing, I'm assuming, gave Will Fuller and Bradley Roby PEDs. Okay, that's what the theory that's going on Twitter, at least. He's now a conditioning coach for the Houston Texans. All of a sudden, Will Fuller and Bradley Roby test positive. We're like, what the hell's going on? But without Will Fuller, without Bradley Roby, that's a tipping meter. I can't pick the Texans to win this. I was prepared to. But the Colts should get back to Forrest Buckner and some other guys. And with all that talent, and with them now losing Will Fuller and Bradley Roby, I think the scales tip to Indianapolis. But I still think it's going to be a close game, as Deshaun Watson has been playing very, very well lately. We move on to the next game. We have the New York Giants at the Seattle Seahawks, where the Seahawks, yes, did have their victory against the Eagles last week, where the defense looked better. But what is that saying when you're facing this Eagles offense, which is god-awful, right? So this is going to be a real test, or at least a better test. Not about a real test. It's the Giants we're talking about. But a better test as to where the Seattle Seahawks where the Seattle Seahawks defense stands. The Giants are making a push for the NFC least, which is incredibly awful. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I've been saying that a 6-win team is going to win this division. More and more, I'm seeing 5. Like, more and more, I don't see wins on the Giants schedule. I don't see wins on the Cowboys schedule. I don't see wins on the Washington football team schedule. I see, 1 or 2 win on each of their schedules, and one of them is going to win 5 games in the division. That's what I'm seeing, unless there's a big upset, because I'm telling you right now, that's what I'm seeing, and it's incredible. I can't believe it. We want to have a 5-win team win the division. The NFC is incredibly awful. My God. For this game, give me the Seattle Seahawks to win this game, because they are not in the NFC least, and Russell Wilson is starting to get his mojo back. Moving on to the next game, we have the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals, and both these two teams are desperate. Okay, the Rams, they're coming off a loss last week against San Francisco, a disappointing loss for them, and the Cardinals, a surprising loss to New England. The Cardinals, now, if they lose this game, you have to pretty much push them out of the playoff picture, where there's just so many teams battling for the wild card, because the NFC East is so bad and everyone beats up on them. It's incredibly awful. I can't even stop talking about it. The Cardinals, I saw them dig deep, and come up with that huge victory against the Seattle Seahawks a number of weeks ago, like now over a month ago. But I saw them do that. That makes me believe in this NFC West battle again, that they do the same thing and they get to victory here. But do not sleep on this Rams team that went on the road and had a very impressive victory a couple weeks ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They can do it again here. But give me the Cardinals at home. Dig deep. Get this win here. I don't think they still might not make the playoffs. I'll say that. I'm really 50-50 on whether or not they're going to make the playoffs. But I think this is a victory that they will get. We move on to the next game. We have the New England Patriots at the Los Angeles Chargers. Patriots got it done last week. Patriots on a little bit of a win streak, winning ugly, but winning games, right? It's interesting. Cam Newton ran the ball, well. He's starting to pass the ball a little bit better, feeling a little more comfortable in this Patriots offense. The Chargers just don't know how to win games. Like, they beat the Jets, they beat the Bengals, and they beat some other horrible team. They just don't know how to win games. The Patriots kind of do. Now, the Chargers are getting some people back. They got back Austin Eckler last week, which I like, and Anthony Lynn is fighting for his job, so I want to pick the Chargers here. I really do. But they've just shown that they're just not consistent enough when it comes to winning games, whereas Bill Belichick is starting to scrape some wins. So give me the Patriots to win here, but I'm not so confident about this one, to be honest with you. We move on to the next game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. Eagles stink. Their offense is horrible. Carson Wentz now 15 interceptions on the season. God awful. There is no help on the way at this point. I mean, they've gotten a lot of people back. They've gotten Alshon back. They've gotten Dallas Goedert back. It's not helping. The offense stinks. It's hopeless. They still might win the NFC East at 5-10-1 because it's just incredibly awful. But, I mean, just end the misery, please, the NFC East. I can't even, oh my God. Talking about the NFC East just makes me want to throw up. Give me the Green Bay Packers to win this game in Green Bay. We move on to the next game. We have the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos should have the quarterbacks back for this game. They tested negative for COVID-19 after last week's disaster, where they had no quarterbacks active for the game. My God, Kendall Hinton was out there at quarterback. You might as well thought it was me out there. I mean, it might as well have been. Hell, 1 for 9, 13 yards, 1 interception. Hey, give me a number 2 Broncos jersey. Let's see what's happening. Tim Tebow, what's up? For this game, give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win. They're on a roll right now, man, and they're certainly not going to lose the roll to the Denver Broncos. We move on to the next game. We have the Washington football team at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the Washington fans are getting excited. We might win the NFC East. We can't wait to win the NFC East. And then the Steelers, who I will grant, gave the Dallas Cowboys way too much competition when they faced them like over a month ago. But I think in this game, they're going to wake up a little more. They gave the Ravens too much competition today. But at least they're going to be in Pittsburgh, and I don't know. I think Washington just doesn't stack up to them talent-wise pretty much at all. Maybe defensively a little bit, but I just think the Washington football team and their offense is going to be more exposed in this game, facing their Steelers front, which I think really does not match up well against them, giving the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game pretty resoundingly at home. We move on to the Buffalo Bills at the San Francisco 49ers, and this is a difficult one, where the 49ers, they still think they have a shot at the playoffs. They're still fighting. They're still scraping. Robert Saleh, he's still getting the most out of as he can out of the defense. They're fighting. The Bills are in 3, and you just feel like they should be squeezed down a little bit. They're not that good. They should be squeezed down a little bit. But Josh Allen, I think he's going to make, the extra play to win the game here. Still no Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers. The running game is only going to take them so far. Give me the Bills to win this game in San Francisco. And then we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Baltimore Ravens. And hopefully Lamar Jackson is back for this game, because RG3 just gave one of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen. And I know that everyone was out and their mama. But 33 passing yards after 3 quarters, an interception and a fumble. Bleh! I mean, my God, it was awful. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game pretty resoundingly, but it depends on how many players they get off of the COVID-19 list, because it's up to like 22 players right now. It is absurd. So with that said, we move on to my guarantees of the week. These are my betting picks of the week, and we begin with the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 10. I think they're going to compete this week. Mike Glennon, hey, he looked okay last week. The Vikings, they've been a bad team this year. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Minnesota Vikings only a couple weeks ago. Don't forget about this. So the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't won a game in, 10 weeks? Yeah, I think it's actually into 12, right? They haven't won a game since week 1, but like 10 games. Maybe 11. Yeah, 10 games actually. So, they should compete in this game. They've been competing a little bit lately. They like the plus 10 points. You have the New Orleans Saints minus 2.5. It's a good bet. I just think they're going to beat the Falcons minus 2.5 points. That might as well be a pick 'em. Give me the minus 2.5 points for the Saints. We look at the New York Giants at Seattle Seahawks. Give me over 47. Now, asking the New York Giants to score points is asking a lot. But they're facing the Seattle Seahawks defense, which is not very strong. Finally, it took long enough, but Daniel Jones realized that he has Evan Ingram on the team. It took him all year long with Evan Ingram on my fantasy team in one of my money leagues for Daniel Jones to finally learn. Wait a minute. I have Evan Ingram. Maybe I should throw to that guy. It finally took him until week 12. Can you believe it? Oh my God. Anyway, give me the over 47 here. Points should be scored in that game. Buffalo Bills minus 1.5. I think it's a good bet. I just like their chance to get some 49ers minus 1.5 point. Might as well be a pick 'em. And then Ravens minus 7. Again, they should have enough people back from the COVID-19 list, including Lamar Jackson. And if he's not back, put in Trace McSorley. Because my God, he'll be better than this Robert Griffin III that I saw in this game today. So with that said, that'll be my NFL Week 13 picks and predictions. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. I'm out. See you all later.